When it comes to navigating waters, bro, I've read this portion, but what's your? Can you kind of explain in your words?
Yeah, this is where the whole business and success and where am I going just exploded for me. I think I am a habit of nature as well, where I'll look on social medias and try to look or websites and try to look for what do I do? How do I grow? How do I, you know, become successful like other business owners? And so, you know, on social media right now, especially, there's just so much, help. I don't know what you call it.
It's saturated, bro.
It's saturated
really
by
bad.
so much like, different quotes, different ways of doing things. You need to
Yeah.
do it this way. Business owners trying to equip business owners. And it's just, I as a humble student of the game, I want to learn, and so I've gone through seasons where Tiffany could tell you where I've hired business coaches just because I'm not an educated business entrepreneur that went to college for 6 years and got degrees in business, right? And so I had this fear or insecurity that I don't know what I'm doing, and in a sense. So yeah, I was being resourceful to look up things, but I felt like I needed coaching, and I'd go through coaching. And what blew my mind is these coaches, they're like, you got like all your ducks in a row, man. Like, and then all of a sudden I realized I was coaching the coach and telling them what they should be doing in their coaching and certain things. And so it was just like every coach I'd hire, every thousands of dollars I would spend, I realized Tiffany started, man, at first I think she supported, but after I give her like the feedback, like, oh man, this guy's awesome. And I told him he should do this. She's like, but what did he tell you?
Let me say something real quick. When I came in here and I seen the way the tools that you utilize, sometimes I look over your shoulder and see all of these like data analysis and these graphs, and I'm like, Richie, what are you doing? And you're explaining to me like, oh, this is what we track every single thing. This is where you go. And look, if you click here, it shows blah, 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 blah. You were nerding
Yeah.
out. And I was like, yo, Richie is a beast when it comes to these things.
You see, me and Ray, we shared an office because I moved my office to the production room, and he was our lead production creative content specialist during that season. And yeah, he was able to Ray would just do his thing, and I didn't want to be bothered and just be in grind mode, but Ray always was there to see what was going on behind the scenes.
So I was like, I was thinking in my mind, I was like, this is not normal. I was like, you have to have some type of drive or in your case, maybe ADHD is a superpower, as we talked before.
Yeah, it's a blessing, and probably, I don't want to say a curse, but yeah, it
could be a blessing. Yeah.
It's got the two different lanes. But yeah, I believe God gifted me to understand how to navigate data analysis, how to break things in categories, how to scale. I mean, I just had it naturally and didn't know. But the point is that with these tools, with the coaching and everything I'm seeing on social media, I'm just like, I'm hungry to grow, and I see it growing because God's blessing this thing, right? And there's just so much work, so much opportunity. And so I just felt like, okay, if there's a lot of water, I need to get a lot of cups. I need to, continue the flow and overflow and keep growing. And so just on that pursuit, I just felt like kind of lost too. Like, where are we going, And so, and in this chapter, I use the analogy of being out navigating in the deep oceans because, I served 4 years in the Navy, did 2 tours where we went across the whole Pacific Ocean to the Middle East on a 6-month. It wasn't a cruise. It was a mission and come back. And I've done that twice. So I've seen some really deep waters, man. And I know that feeling of being out there where you don't see any land for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and what that can do to you as a human, just being, and in the Navy, we obviously know there's a navigation happening. There's a captain, they know where they're going. But from a sense of, if they're not telling us and I'm at the bottom, like, what do we really know what's going on? You know, it's like that kind of disconnect. And so that's how I felt as a business owner. I felt like there's a disconnect with where am I going? What's the purpose? Is it just for profit, or is it just to grow in status, or like, but where's the land? You know what I mean? Like, what's the purpose in all this? Like, and I felt like I started losing a sense of like, where am I going? What's the point? And that's when I really just wanted to seek God and say, man, I feel like lost in this ocean of people on social media telling me I need to do this, business coaches telling me I need to do this to get up to the mountain, keep growing, get to the top. But then what's up there? You know, it's like, what is this?
When did you realize that you had no navigation or no map, I guess, in a sense? Was there a shift in like an event in the business that kind of caused you to realize, like, what am I even doing here? Or,
well, it might have been an internal thing. Just I've always seeked purpose with God and an intent, you know. And when we started this, it was with God, and I just felt at the time like it was fruitful, but I have to attach something to it with God, or I don't want to be in it. I started losing the interest, almost like an overwhelmingness of constantly being pushed to the top. At least in a sport, we know time runs out and you got to win a game. You know, that's the goal.
yes.
But right now I'm like, what's the goal? Like, what am I doing? Like, am I just trying to like get money? Am I just trying to provide work? Am I just trying to be the best on the island? Like, what is the point in this? And so I think when, you know, we signed up for the union, we became a union contractor because that felt like the right next thing to do. We are hiring employees. We're growing our workforce. We just got a new office, you know, first time getting a real office and warehouse, you know, and just we're growing. And I realized the weight of what was coming with it. But then I'm like, is it worth it? Like, what's the point here? Like, you know, I started feeling that on the inside. Like, okay, I'm leading, but for what? Just the sake to lead, you know, I'm the owner for the sake of what? Just to be an owner. So man, it was just maybe late nights sitting in the office with nobody. Everyone's already back home having their regular lives, and I'm sitting there grinding estimates and just sit back and just say, what am I doing? You know, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, man. It's just one of those moments like, where am I going? Like, if I don't have purpose, man, I lose passion and interest, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, originally the passion and interest was just trusting God, stepping out and seeing it happen and just being excited that, oh man, this thing is working. God's in it and this, but okay, but where are we headed? Yeah, we got it. Okay, we got this ship. It's working. We got a crew. We're out in the ocean. God put us out here, but now it's like, I don't have a GPS, man. Like, okay, we're just out in deep waters now. Like, and I'm reading, I'm seeing what everyone's putting on Instagram, and I'm just like, that's like, is that it? Like, and it's just overwhelming, man.
That's crazy because I seen this while you're talking about that portion where everything's kind of popping, everything's, you know, you got your crew, business getting better, you got more employees. There was one specific image in my mind came up, bro, where you would have meetings. I think it was like every Wednesdays or something, in the meeting room, but the room would be absolutely filled with all the leads, and I was, in my mind, I was like, whoa, like this is getting big, like. But I see that now where you're thinking, like, what you're saying here is like everything was going big, but what was the real purpose of that? Was it just a facade of, you know, having this image and it being an example of what success is? Or because sometimes in my mind, I'm like, what does success look like when you're in the business? And as I continue to read this, you know, you get all of the things that you imagine in your head what a successful business looks like. That image came up and I was like, okay, that does look like success. But deep down, it's like when you're at home or when everything's by yourself or alone, you have these thoughts again. It's like, okay, is that really the purpose or whatnot? Yeah. But I just seen that image for some reason with the room filled.
Yeah, and you know, when you see growth as somebody who's stewarding a business, you get excited in those moments, and you see them. I see them too. Like I'm looking like, wow, there's so many leads I get to pour into and equip them to go out there, and those are exciting, you know, firecracker moments. You know, you're just like, man, okay, but like. I'm not attracted to the success that everyone's preaching though. Like, where is it going? Where does it end? Where does it fulfill? You know? And so, Yeah, those deep waters, man, they can get a little lonely when you start actually recognizing you're in the deep ocean. It's like there's a quick fear that can come over you, like, what if I fail these guys out here, and I've seen movies where captains take their crew out the ship and big storm comes and they all end up dying out there, and I'm just like, oh man, like, where am I actually taking these dudes? Where am I taking everyone? So leadership, I think, always has that. I think there's pastors, there's big time entrepreneurial leaders and people, even us as husbands, and we hope we're leading well and not like leading them into deep ocean where there's no land or fulfillment, and so. And yeah, man, that was where navigating water started.
There was a portion there where you talk about the Challenger Deep, or mention the Challenger Deep. I have this where it says it's about 7 miles down below, and it's like when I read that, I was like, I have a fear of like underwater and like where the reef is. And I think it's because I just don't know what's down there.
Yeah.
So every time at Waimea, we jumped over rock or whatever, and then you can see the underground. But once you go deeper, it's like you can't see anything unless you go down. I'm scared. I'm like, I just don't like diving because I don't know what's down there.
Yeah, I shared this in the book, and it was very I had significance to a reason why I shared it. It's because, okay, let me share the experience first, man. Like, it's south of Guam, and there's a part of the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, called the Challenger Deep, and yeah, it's about 7 miles deep, and it's one of our trajectories going from Hawaii to the Middle East. That's part of the pathway. And so when the ship gets over certain things, like, the captain of the ship goes on and say, now we're about to be going over the Challenger Deep, and gives us a little history and allows us to go out and just kind of look over and see, it's not, I mean, it's just water. But there's certain things that we get to experience out there on water, and that was one of them. But I remembered, like, I didn't really have significance. I didn't have a dial in on what 7 miles was, and so I was like, I did quick math. I was like, okay, football field is like 100 yards, and I did like how many football fields are in a mile, and I came up with like 18. And then
that's
how
I understand things.
Yeah. So I was like, what's 18 times 7? And 8? I forget what it is, like 156, I think, or something. And I was thinking, dang, that's 156 football fields going down. And then once I realized that, man, I just felt like, I remember thinking, like, not like because obviously you jump in the ocean, you're still going to be able to swim, but there's a feeling of that depth under you. It's kind of scary, And so when I was in that season, I was thinking, man, I have God under me, but I couldn't imagine a business owner that didn't have the builder of all things. They would be like the ship going, not only lost the ocean, but nothing under them either, for 7 miles. And so I was just thinking, man, almost about other business owners, like what they must feel, what I'm feeling, but even like worse. It's like an empathy kicked in, of sense of like, man, I wonder how they feel sometimes, like at least when I get into that moment, I go, okay, I know I got God, under my ship. I got his hand. And so support me. And what I mean by that is my foundation, Tiffany's foundation. When we started, we jumped out with God, right? So knowing that he's under there, but just having that empathy to think about, man, how deep, somebody could feel in that lostness if they were in a place and didn't have God as well. That was where that connected for me.
How long were you guys had to go through that?
I mean, it's quick.
Oh, it's quick?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I think our ship is like 560 something feet long, and I think there's a certain length where you can call it a boat to a ship. And it's based on the length. Yeah. And so it qualifies as a ship. 10,000 pound ship. Can go 30 knots. I mean, we were a beast.
What's 30 knots? Explain it to me.
I want to say, I don't know the math, and I'll probably be wrong, but I'm thinking 40, 50 miles per hour.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. That's fast for a ship?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. For a ship that size. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 10,000. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, that thing can book. And it's intentional because the ship that I was on was a warship that protected it was a U.S. cruiser missile protected, what do you call them? Carriers.
Mm-mm.
And so 434? 34? Oh, we got input from Michael. So 30 knots is 34 miles per hour.
Okay.
That was close. I said 40. I gave it a little oomph.
Yeah. Maybe with the stream, with the current.
Yeah. So, yeah, we were a beast, man.